Attracted and Repulsed, the maze. Here's a short story about a traveler who enters a maze filled with beautiful attractions and frightening warnings until he discovers that both desire and avoidance can keep him circling the same path. At the edge of an ancient city stood a vast stone maze, its walls twisted beneath flowering vines, golden lanterns, and crooked wooden signs. A traveler named Soren arrived carrying a map and one question: where is the center of peace? An old gatekeeper pointed through the entrance. Walk without letting attraction pull you or fear push you. Soren smiled. That sounds easy. The gate opened. At the first turning, Soren saw a garden filled with sparkling fountains, fruit trees, music, and tables overflowing with food. A sign read, "Everything you have ever wanted." Soren stepped inside. He tasted the fruit, listened to the music, and admired his reflection in the fountain. Each pleasure promised that one more taste, one more song, or one more compliment would finally satisfy him. Hours passed. When Soren tried to leave, a beautiful voice whispered, "What if this is the best place you will ever find?" He remained until the sweetness became heavy. At last, Soren walked away. Soon he reached a narrow passage covered in thorns. From within came growls, rattling chains, and voices warning, "Do not enter. You will lose everything." Soren turned back immediately. He searched for another route, but each alternative led him to the same garden he had already left. Again he tasted the fruit. Again it disappointed him. Again he approached the thorny passage. Again he fled. For 3 days, Soren moved between the garden and the frightening corridor. One pulled him forward, the other pushed him away. Neither brought him nearer to the center. On the 4th day, Soren sat on the ground and shouted, "This maze is controlling me." A quiet woman stepped from behind the vines. Her name was Mara, and she carried no map. "The maze is neutral," she said. Soren pointed toward the garden. "That place traps me. What do you ask it to give you?" "Happiness. And the dark passage? It threatens to take my safety." Mara nodded. "One image attracts you because you believe it can complete you. The other repulses you because you believe it can destroy you. Both depend upon the same belief, that something outside you controls your peace." Soren looked at the garden, then toward the thorns. "So I should reject everything pleasant, force myself through everything frightening?" "No," Mara replied. "That would be another form of control. Attraction and rejection are not healed by reversal. They are healed by questioning the purpose you gave them." She led him back to the garden. The fountains still sparkled. The music still played. Soren felt the familiar pull. Mara asked, "What are you asking this place to provide?" Soren became still. "To prove that I am loved." "Can a garden prove that?" "No." The pull softened. They then approached the thorny corridor. Soren's body tightened. "What are you afraid it will take?" Mara asked. "My identity, my comfort, my control." "Can a passage take what you truly are?" Soren did not answer immediately. Then he whispered, "No." The fear did not vanish, but it no longer commanded him. Together they entered. The growls were only wind moving through hollow stones. The rattling chains were loose gates striking the walls. The thorns looked dangerous, but a clear path ran between them. Beyond the corridor, Soren found another garden, then another dark passage. This time, he paused before reacting. "What am I asking this form to give me?" he asked. "What do I believe this form can take away?" Some paths he entered, some he left. But he no longer chose merely because he felt attracted or repulsed. At last, Soren reached the center of the maze. There was no palace, treasure, or throne, only a still pool beneath an open sky. Soren looked into the water and saw every path reflected together: the beautiful garden, the dark corridor, the wrong turns, and the places he had resisted. Mara stood beside him. "The center was not hidden by the maze," she said. "It was hidden by the meaning you gave each path." Soren understood. His preferences were not sins and his fears were not commands. They were signals revealing where he still believed the world could complete or threaten him. He placed the old map beside the pool. On it, every road had been marked either want or avoid. Soren turned it over and wrote, "Let everything lead me toward peace." When he left the maze, pleasant things still attracted him, and difficult things still stirred resistance. But he no longer obeyed every pull or every push. He paused, listened, and asked for a new purpose. And with each honest question, the maze became less like a prison and more like a classroom leading him home. May we sing, rest, and dance our way home together.